Hello there, and welcome to the booth here in Milwaukee. That's Randy Bueller, that's Ian Duke, and I'm Marshall Sutcliffe. And you heard it from Rich. We've got Paulo Vitor Damo Da Rosa versus Jon Finkel waiting in our feature match. Let's head down for round 15. Hello and welcome to coverage of Pro Tour Battle for Zendikar. I'm Marshall Sutcliffe in the booth with Randy Bueller and Ian Duke. We're in round 15. We're down the stretch, and we have... This is just one of the best matchups I've ever seen in the feature match area.
I don't know
Randy,
why you said one of.
We've got 23
completely
Pro Tour
unprecedented.
top 8s
23 Pro
these
Tour
two
top 8s
players.
and counting. Paulo tied for third all-time currently with 9. We believe he's pretty much already in this top 8. That will become his 10th, but for now he's got 9. The only guy with more is that one, Jon Finkel, Johnny Magic, 14 Pro Tour top 8s, and if he wins this match, he'll run it to 15.
He'll run it up to 15. So let's get underway here. Now, Ian, I want you to walk us through what the matchup looks like from each player's side here.
So we saw a little snapshot of this matchup in a previous round. Paulo is playing the Atarka Red deck, and he's up against Pantheon's Dark Jeskai deck from Jon Finkel. So Jon playing same or very similar list to Owen Turtenwald that we saw last round.
Yeah, last round, Paulo got game 1, but Owen took game 2 and 3. Owen has already taken an intentional draw with Ricky Chin, so they've gotten to 37 points. Neither Rich or me or anyone else I know of can construct a scenario where 37 points misses this top 8.
So congratulations to Ricky and to Owen.
Mm-hmm. Now, Jon spent some time trying to convince Paulo that he was also already locked into this top 8. Jon would like Paulo to just scoop here and let Jon join in all the fun tomorrow. But they're playing for now.
Feels like the incentives aren't perfectly lined up for Paulo to do that.
Look, if I'm Paulo, yeah, maybe I think I am locked. I don't really want Jon Finkel in my top 8.
No, have you seen him play Magic?
I have. I want to beat Jon now. I'm like, you want to beat me on Sunday? You have to beat me now first. That's what I'd be thinking if I was Paulo.
And apparently, something similar happened here because here they are playing. There was no scooping, drawing, or anything different.
Now, we heard a little bit from Owen last round. He thinks that this matchup is favorable for the Jeskai deck.
Yeah, and you agreed with him. I agree with both of you.
However, he does say it's scary because we all know this Atarka Red deck is capable of some explosive draws and combinations.
Reasonable start here for Finkel. He's got a Soulfire Grandmaster, which is a big part of the equation here, as this is one of the ways that he can recoup a lot of these sort of incidental damage that he'll pick up off of these creatures, discounting one of those. Like you called it like a combo finish, Ian.
Fetching up a swamp maybe indicates Crackling Doom?
Yeah, that was what I would assume here. Crackling Doom you. That kills Zergo, and it also gains Jon Finkel an additional 2 life. And Jon's got to be happy. His Soulfire Grandmaster on turn 2 survives 2 untaps here, and it doesn't look like Paulo has any way to kill it.
Yeah, I think I caught a flash of his hand. He's got a Battle Rage and an Atarka's Command.
And I'm sure Jon is keen to this. Seeing the Atarka Red deck pass with 2 mana up and a handful of cards, you've got to expect there's some combination of those pump spells like Atarka's Command.
It's really the only thing
Battle
left,
Rage,
right, Ian?
Becoming Months. Yeah,
Like, because he's going to kill your Soulfire Grandmaster if given that opportunity. He's going to play anything on the board to develop it out.
That's
There's
right.
nothing left. It's either lands or combat tricks.
Or more Zergos, but we've already seen 2 of those. So
Good point. Yeah, nothing quite like being Zergo flooded.
Untapped Prairie Stream.
Wow. And how big is it, Ian, looking from a big picture perspective on this match here? If Jon picks up game 1, I mean, this is the game where he's not favored, right?
yeah, I would say so. For sure, the Atarka Red deck, it's such a focused strategy that it's very attackable post-sideboard, and game 1 is really the game it's hoping to kind of steal before the other deck can prepare as much. And then, we've seen this a lot, these sort of very aggressive decks try to win game 1 and then just maybe hope to get one of the next 2 games. And I think that's the situation we're seeing here. However, Jon off to a good start. Mantis Rider is fantastic in this matchup since it can pressure Paulo and end the game quickly before he can draw into more combo pieces, so to speak. But it's also vigilant, so it's a great blocker too. And 3 toughness, just the perfect amount to essentially 2-for-1 Paulo in combat.
Yeah, it's really doing a lot of work here, as well as you mentioned it, but pressuring Paulo's life total. You know, his deck does not play defense well, and once Jon can even get a little bit ahead in the damage race here, he usually can just close it out. Jon's going to block.
Yep.
Zergo.
Paulo going to go for the Atarka's command
Begging
here?
in Atarka's command for sure.
Damage bump. Sure, I get 15 at 11.
So he +1/+1 his team, and
Take 2 more. 3. 3 more. I got 12.
got
Mantis
Jon down
Rider.
to 12 there.
Mantis Rider kind of like a super lightning helix in this matchup. Comes down, hits you for 3 right away, blocks, prevents 3 damage, and trades for 2 cards.
Jeez, I would play that Lightning Helix.
Some fun facts on this matchup. The 2 players have 1,061 combined pro points. They have won $689,369.
Wow.
Paulo has the career edge in win percentage, 64.8 to 64.3. That's winning percentage in Pro Tour matches across, what have they been on the Pro Tour for 30 years between the 2 of them?
Yeah, these are truly 2 titans of the game.
Yeah, the end of the week, as of the end of the weekend, they're going to be 1-2 in career Pro Tour top 8s. Paulo is breaking his tie with Nassif and tying Kai Buddha at 10 Pro Tour top 8s.
And Finkel's either
a catastrophe in the next
either
hour.
adding 1 or staying the same. Either way,
Or
he's
he's
still
only gonna be up
4
4.
clear. Yeah.
Now, Dispel was a nice pickup for Jon
Oh.
Finkel here.
Yeah, because Paulo top decked the Become Immense, and he's got Teamer Battle Rage in his hand. So Paulo legitimately going for the combo kill here.
Yeah, and if Jon, you said Jon has Dispel in his hand?
Yeah, I think he just drew it or
He's
drew
gonna
it
wanna-
recently.
Yeah, you're right. He's going to want to Dispel this.
Yeah, he's just trying to think. This isn't actually lethal. Is there anything scarier that could happen? I don't think there is.
Well, I'm sure he's anticipating the Battle Rage, and
Yeah, I mean,
it,
the man is
just,
sitting right
it makes
there.
so much more sense to counter the Become Immense than the Battle Rage.
Wow.
He's going to let him go for it and counter the
Yeah.
Battle Rage instead, which does mean that he's taking a good hit of damage here, but it does mean he's not dead.
Right. He gets Paulo tapped out. He gets the extra card out of Paulo's hand.
But at the cost of 7 life.
6.
6 life plus the trigger. I guess he gets a trigger either way.
I mean, the
You're
trigger's
right.
happening either way,
You're right.
exactly.
So 6 life he traded there.
Now, clearly, this is a calculated play from Jon, but I
Yes.
have to wonder if it's being a bit greedy. I mean, he is taking more damage overall. You always have to be careful about that against a red deck. The plus side is it does get him to commit both the Become Immense and the Teamer Battle Rage for a non-lethal combo, which will give Jon a little bit of breathing room in future turns.
Yeah, he did also, by the way, Ian, buy back his Dispel using the
Ooh.
ability from the Soulfire Grandmaster.
Oh.
He drew Tasigur here as well.
Maybe
very
that's why
nice.
he was so interested in Paulo being tapped out.
Because he would know he can't die then.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does get 2 of the life back here. He's got Paulo down to just the 1 card left, and boom, here comes Tasigur. Is Tasigur a good blocker?
It sure is. And with only 1 card in Paulo's hand starting the turn, I can't imagine he can put together a lethal combination.
Your turn.
Yeah, not through Dispel.
4 life and draw a card.
And this is where things get ugly for Paulo Vitor Damo Da Rosa, because Finkel's now back up to 10, drawing cards. He's got Tasigur. Any number of spells in Finkel's hand could be lethal here if Paulo takes the 6. He goes down to 1, Finkel back up to 12. Does he have something? Crackling Doom?
Soulfire Grandmaster.
How about just another Soulfire Grandmaster? That is going to do it for Game 1. Jon Finkel takes Game 1 from Paulo Vitor Damo Da Rosa. Finkel trying to top 8, number 15 here in the feature match area. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after these messages. Put your game to the test at a Grand Prix. These open tournaments feature the best players in your region as well as top Magic pros. Upcoming Grand Prix include Beijing, Quebec City, Porto Alegre, Lyon, and Indianapolis. Visit magic.wizards.com/Grand Prix for a complete schedule. Qualify for the next Pro Tour on Magic Online. Go 5-0 or 4-1 in one of 10 preliminaries to advance to the finals. You can see the full schedule at mtgo.com. And welcome back to the feature match area here in Milwaukee. There's a lot of other action down in the feature match area besides our blockbuster main table there. Let's jump over and take a look at Paul Rietzel.
Are we on the Rietzel match?
This, I believe, is actually the Paul Dean and Yuta
yeah.
Takahashi. So that's actually who we're seeing here. So let's take a look at Paul Dean versus Yuta Takahashi here. We'll get those names
Pauls.
switched out for you.
So I'm sure the chat will let everyone know. Pauls are everywhere.
We have seen Yuta Takahashi last round as well. He was playing Abzan, as you can see here. Now his opponent, Paul Dean, well, he's playing Abzan as well.
Super clean winning in. These guys are both 11-3. The winner gets the 12th win and is extremely likely to be able to ID in next round.
Yeah, Takahashi. We after having him in the feature match area earlier, we got a chance to know him a little bit. He's already got a Pro Tour top 8 and 3 GP wins on his resume. So this would be number 2 if he can pick up this match win. The players are in game 1 here.
You want one more fun fact from that Paulo versus John match?
Yes.
Guess how many Pro Tour matches they have won between the two of them?
I don't know.
Give me a number.
How many do you play in a PT? 16. They've played for 1 million. I don't know. 900.
They came into the tournament with 977 between them. They've won 23 so far, so it's a super clean 1,000 Pro Tour match wins between those two guys.
Oh, that's great. I like my guess there, by the way.
So Paul Dean wins game 1 there.
Yeah, Paul Dean from Canada there. He was a Magic Online PTQ winner to get here.
Nice.
And he just beat Yuta Takahashi in game 1 in the Abzan. I'm not going to call it a mirror, but they're playing similar enough decks. Also in our feature match area, left side of your screen there, you see Paul Rietzel wearing the baseball hat there. He's up against Thiago Saporito.
Now, Thiago's got the super awesome 4-color Dragons deck.
Yes.
We did a deck tech yesterday. I did it with Dan Ward, who's the guy that built this deck. And, he hooked up with the Dex Army, mostly the Brazilians, Willie and Thiago and all those guys. And this deck seems super cool. Dan did a great job on that deck tech, too. It's definitely worth watching if you have any interest in attacking with giant flying monsters.
Also saw a good amount of cards from Battle for Zendikar in that deck as well.
Yeah,
I mean it's a Beast Caller Savant, I think, under that.
It is a Beast Caller Savant. You can play Woodland Wanderer as a 6/6 on turn 3. Oof. That's what the deck tries to do. I mean, it's got Savage Knuckleblades, it's got Mantis Riders, basically it's just the greediest mana base, but it works. It totally works.
The coolest part of this deck to me is it makes really good use of Stubborn Denial, which is a super powerful card that it struggles to find a home sometimes. But, in a world where people are casting 3, 4, 5 mana, multicolor, powerful spells, that card just strikes me as an awesome card for this weekend.
This is not looking good for Team Rietzel.
No, Rietzel is getting thumped by creature lands, as well as flyers and mana creatures. He kind of had a motley crew there, but Thiago Saporito gets the job done, picking up the first game.
Thiago does not actually control his own destiny. Thiago is 10-4. So the 10-4s currently go from Eric Severson in 12th place down to Peter Socharik in 28th. So 18 of those guys hoping win, cross your fingers, hope your tiebreakers are good enough. Near the top of those tiebreakers, by the way, is Reed Duke. It goes Severson, Medieros, Merjam, and Duke right now amongst the X4s. Paul, though, does control his own destiny. Paul is on 31 points. So 10-3-1, win-win for him. He's in.
Wow. Paul Rietzel.
Man, Finkel has won almost 200 more matches than PV. I heard that 1,000 stat. I'm like, okay, yeah, John's got more. It's 585 to 392.
Yeah, I was actually wondering who is contributing how much to that, because there was a period of time where Paulo was playing a lot on the Pro Tour, and John had sort of taken a break.
Yeah, but John also played Pro Tour 1.
Right.
He played PT 1. Now, he played the juniors, but still. The juniors had
wonder
more
what
Hall of
PT
Famers
this
in it
is.
than the Masters did.
What PT do you think this is?
We're almost to 100. I think
Almost
it's
100?
90-something.
John's been around this game for the whole time.
1,631 matches played between these guys.
Yeah, it's
John's got 585 match wins at the Pro Tour. That is absurd.
It's a lot of victims. We're back on our main match, as you can see here, as Paulo. Now, the interesting part here, though, of course, is take a look at their records in the tournament. One of them, Paulo, is at 12-2, and Finkel's at 11-3. So they're not in the same scenario as each other. You know, Jon Finkel picks up a victory here, and he puts himself in a position to draw in the last round. But Paulo will be in that same position even if he picks up a loss here.
Yeah, it's pretty much identical to the scenario last round where Paulo played John's teammate, Owen Turtenwald. On the same deck, Paulo was up a match, just needed a draw, couldn't get it, so they played it out. Worked out for Owen. Will it work out for John?
Will it indeed?
The other winning in we've got this round is Martin Mueller against Peter Vieren. And it's Mueller who's up the game there. Tim Willoughby continues to remind us that that was his pick to win the Pro Tour a week ago.
A horde of goblins enters the battlefield for Paulo, but it's met with radiant flames. Card we've seen do a lot of work this weekend.
Yeah. Necessary sideboard and some a card against these small creature decks, and it's doing great work here.
Ooh, but a nice follow-up from
Whoa.
Paulo.
Abbot of
into
Carol Keep,
Swift Spear.
which he hit off of the Abbot as well. So yeah, that's a little. Get some cards back there for Paulo.
Now take a look at John's hand here. He's got a pretty powerful hand, but his mana is kind of awkward here. He has no white mana at the moment, though I think he may have just picked up a polluted Delta. Oh, it's okay.
Mystic Monastery.
Mystic Monastery. That's great for him.
He also used a Kolagon's command there to take out Abbot of Carol Keep while the shields were down. Paul's going to attack with 2 Monastery Swift Spears, but has nothing else while Jon Finkel's tapped out. Just hits for 2 and passes the turn back. So it's going to be a sigh of relief for John. He could have taken a lot more damage that turn.
John with his second Kolagon's command. I wonder if we'll see him try to empty Paulo's hand.
You know, I did get a chance to watch Finkel play against John Stern earlier in the day, and that is the line he took.
Mm-hmm.
He clearly prioritized getting his opponent hellbent. It just gives you so much more information against this deck because of that combo finish we've been talking about with Become Immense and Temur Battle Rage. All right, he's going to be patient here, though, and just play a Mantis Rider and attack with it.
Now, I think Paulo is sitting on a copy of Atarka's command in his hand, so that could prove to be pretty dangerous, depending how these next couple turns play out.
Abbot of Carol keeps the follow-up play here for Paulo, who hits a Lightning Berserker.
Yeah, John's hand was 4 3s, right? Crackling Doom, Kolagon's Command, Mantis Rider. He basically had to pick one of his 4 cards to play. There was no way to get 2 spells this turn. And it does open up this little window for Paulo.
Yeah, Paulo thinking about,
Casting the Berserker.
do I want to dash it? Yeah, and he does. And it doesn't attack.
Huh.
Okay.
So he does not want the Atarka's Command in that window.
Now, this is
Because
really
he
interesting.
didn't want to lose the Berserker.
Yeah, because John
Did
could
John
have...
draw land 6?
He may have.
That
He
is
he
huge.
drew an Arishan Cleric off the top.
Also huge.
Okay, yeah, that works just fine. Oh, he's cracking the polluting die, I see.
But one important note here is that dash Lightning Berserker serves as a buffer for the Atarka's command. Otherwise, Jon Finkel's second Kolagon's command could make Paulo discard the Atarka's command at an inopportune time.
Oh, yeah, good point. Oh, is that a 3rd Monastery Swift Spear? Look at the team assembled now here for Paulo Vitor. This is where you start wondering how many cards your opponent has in their graveyard.
Only 1 card in Paulo's hand, though.
So I think
Could be
John's gonna block, anticipating a spell triggering prowess, and then he can respond with Kolagon's command. Problem is he doesn't really get full value out of the command here, since this will be the last card out of Paulo's hand.
Cards in hand was a question from Paulo Vitor Damo Da Rosa, and he says, all right, here it is. Tarka's command. Usually it's do 3 to you, +1/+1 to each of my creatures.
Yeah.
In this case, all 4 of his creatures are getting +2/+2 off of it.
Right. Now, the Mantis Rider does still trade for the Abbot. So John's basically being hit by 3 3-power Swift Spears, and he can kill one of them.
Does seem like it is in his best interest. Curious to see what he aims this at. He can either kill one of the Swift Spears or he can keep his Mantis Rider alive but take a lot more damage.
And the awkward thing is he'd love to regrow one of these creatures with the Kolagon's command, but the timing is just not going to work out for him. He can't afford to take the damage.
Right. So this has him taking 6 damage.
6 and 5, so it's 5 to 12.
Plus the 3 from the command.
Plus the 3 from the command.
Just 2 bounce. Yeah.
The Lightning Berserker goes back to hand. It does not die because it was a 2/2.
Is that Ojutai's command?
I see a pair of Crackling Dooms in
Yeah.
hand for Finkel. And then
That's
the
what he
one
had
card
when he started
drew.
the turn.
Yeah, it was an Ojutai's command, Randy.
It's pretty good.
That's great.
Well, it's a lot of tools for Finkel to work with, but he is down to 5 life.
And still on this, he can only cast 1 spell a turn plan.
Does he currently have a creature to get back with Ojutai's command?
He does not.
No.
Only the Mantis Riders in his graveyard.
Okay.
Crackling Doom,
All right, we've got a match update from our back table again. Yuta Takahashi sitting in 11-3, playing against Paul Dean from Canada at 11-3. They're going to game 3.
Soulfire Grandmaster.
Ooh, nice pickup.
That's a nice draw.
This will do a lot of work here. So this makes the next Crackling Doom also gain 2. In addition to that, the Grandmaster could just trade with something in combat and then come back with the Ojutai's command, if need be.
I believe that was an Abbot off the top for Paulo. Yeah, it looks like it was. He did hit a mountain. It's off screen right now, but I could see it on one of my other
Yeah,
monitors.
he played it.
Played a mountain.
Okay.
Plays the Lightning Berserker.
Just the Berserker.
Yeah, that's 5. That's a 5. Okay.
So one option is just to block with the Soulfire Grandmaster, gain the 2.
Block with the
and-
Cleric's not terrible either.
Oh, yeah, that's fine too.
Make him do 2 pumps, and then he can kill it with Crackling Doom.
He could also just let his Erishan
Yeah.
Cleric
Right,
trade
right,
because
that
he
might
can
be
get
fine.
that back later.
Even better.
Because what this does is it gives him a target for Ojutai's command that he didn't have before.
And he still gets the Crackling Doom this turn as well. Wow, things are looking much, much better for Finkel after having fallen to 5. He's going to jump back up to 7 here. And he's at virtual 11, 12, 13, 14 if he wants it.
Go ahead.
Now, he does have a board state to handle here, though.
Paulo keeps drawing gas.
Yeah, he does. Dragon Fodder.
Sure.
And a Prowess trigger.
Attack
Allows
with
him to
a
attack
2/3.
with a 2/3.
John's going to dip down to 6 life, but as you can see, Paulo is now completely out of cards.
It's going pretty wide, though.
It turns out Jon Finkel's pretty good at figuring out these puzzles, especially when you take the whole unknown information part off the table for him.
No cards, right?
John just asked him how many cards he had.
Card can play and draw a card. So go to.
Oh, pre-combat gets this. Now he can double block to kill the Swift Spear.
And I'm going to declare it block.
So he didn't actually gain life on
Or
it,
just
though.
block and bounce.
Yeah,
He drew a card instead of gaining life.
he did. He gained the 3 from the Erishan Cleric to go up to 9, but he decided to draw
Sure.
a card instead. I mean, he does need to deal with his board at some
yeah,
point.
he gets to attack it. I mean, he's one Mantis Rider from just winning this game, too.
There's a Jace Vryn's Prodigy off the top for Finkel. Finkel's up a game here.
I hear that card's good.
It feels like he has Paulo up against the ropes,
Yeah, it
but
totally
it's
does.
not over yet.
Paulo looks at the graveyard, just gives the wry sort of eyebrow shrug.
Paulo demonstrating his range here, though. Remember, The last big finish he had at a PT was with Esper Dragons.
No, yeah, good point. If John flips this Jace, he gets to Radiant Flames with Soulfire Grandmaster in play to both clear
Yikes.
Paulo's board and gain. I mean, it depends how many of his own creatures he's willing to kill,
Yeah,
but
it'll be the 15 to 20 range
Net 2, I go 7.
if he wants it to be. John draws his card for the turn, and he's attacking. This does signify that he's got that line in hand, in his head, Randy.
That was really bad of me. I got too greedy, Paulo. Too good at 9. I could kill you if I got my Colligan's command and brought back my Mantis Rider. Oh, Jace.
All right, so it looks
John
like
berating
John got
himself for missing the winning line.
yeah, he got a little ahead of himself, actually seeing the line that you described.
Yeah, he got all
Randy.
excited about Radiant Flames, which is kind of exciting. It's not as exciting as killing your opponent, though.
Yes,
Colligan's command with the Raised Dead ability could have gotten a Mantis Rider to just finish Paulo off.
which he could have played and then attacked for lethal.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, gain 21.
Game
Game
21.
21 to 30, is that good? Now, is there realistically an opening here, though, for
No.
Paulo to win? No,
No
right?
way.
Okay.
Oh, was that Thiago Saporito defeating Paul Rietzel? Was that the update we just heard? Wow, Paul Rietzel. Not going to make top 8 of this tournament. It's the first tournament in a while without him in the top 8.
Kidding.
Been on a crazy strong heater.
Oh, man. It sounds like Peter Vieren has a virulent plague in play against the tokens deck.
Oh, jeez.
That's not going to be good news for that. So,
Yeah, Martin Mueller's
Keep
got
an eye on
that Eureka Jeskai tokens list they've
right.
been having so much success with.
in the meantime, John, after having missed lethal, did gain 21 that turn, and he still has an
Missed
active
lethal.
Jace.
There were only 5 cards in the chain that led to lethal.
Look, he said it himself. That's the only reason I'm saying it. He is resolving dig through time. It does, though, seem as if it's just a matter of going through the motions here, as getting 29 damage in before John can find 5 just isn't in the cards here for Paulo.
No.
He is now forced to sit here and watch as Jon Finkel moves ever closer to number 15.
Oh, so absurd. I can't imagine he's going to have trouble getting a draw next round. He may not even need it. I guess his breakers are bad enough that he does actually need a draw next round. Like maybe somebody plays Dream Wrecker. I mean, if you're Ricky Chin in your first Pro Tour ever and you get paired down against Jon Finkel.
Hell no. I shake his hand.
Master plus your guy. Go ahead.
But then what? But then you might lose to him tomorrow.
You know, I'm just saying, if I'm Ricky, I'm okay with that. I want to get in the top 8. Now, if you've been here before, like Paulo, I think you have a different approach to it. And that does it. Jon
Wow.
Finkel
Nice
wins
smile.
the match. A big smile on his face, likely
Indeed.
to be in top 8 for his 15th Pro Tour top 8. He's already 4 clear of the next best and looking to make it 5. He's got one more round to go where he needs to find a win or a draw, and he's in. So on the back table, Peter Vieren, yes, it worked. Virulent play gets the job done, and
Good
he
against
forces a
Jeskai
game
tokens.
3. Yeah. So they're going to game 3 back there as we move our cameras and crew over to the other table here, where we have Yuta Takahashi, and he is playing Paul Dean of Canada here. This is an Obzon mirror, and as you can see, it's already kind of mirrory.
And a game 3, right?
Sorry.
Correct, Randy. This is a game 3.
Utah's been around for a while. 200 career pro points. A Pro Tour top 8. Those 9 Grand Prix top 8s include 3 wins.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Three GP wins. There's not a lot of people with 3+ GP wins. Now I see a Prairie Stream over there on Paul Dean's side, Ian. Is this the Obzon list that's splashing for Jace, or what might we expect there? Why don't you take a look at his list and
No, I think actually this is just straightforward, what I would call Obzon aggro, maybe.
Okay.
No splashes, at least in the main deck that I can see.
What's the Prairie Stream for?
It's just get an extra kind of sideways getting a dual land.
Oh, I see. He doesn't
Like
need
you
the
can
blue mana,
get,
but he wants to be able
Sunken
to fetch
Hollow,
it out.
for example.
He wants to be, yeah. That is the problem with Obzon, is that your dual lands, you have so many enemy color pairs that you have to get off-color dual lands to make the mana work.
Right, so Prairie Stream can get either Sunken Hollow or Canopy Vista. So it can get all your colors, but in kind of a roundabout way.
All right, looks like a good start here for Yuta. He's got Hairback Walker as the follow-up here. But the big hitter for Paul Dean has arrived. Anafenza, the foremost, is looking to rumble. Paul's going to kick things off with an attack. No block from Yuta. That's going to drop him down to 15 life. What's the follow-up here for Paul? Can he keep adding to the board? Seen this one before. Siege Rhino is the follow-up. So this is definitely one of the more powerful 3-4 punches you can do in Standard on Offenza into Siege Rhino. Wonder if is Yuta missing land drops here?
Yeah, it looks like he has
I
been.
don't know. I kind of caught it the way he flipped the card off the top of his library, like, give me something. He does have 3 mana and an Obzon Charm. So there's a chance that he's going to crack that to try to hit those lands or maybe take down a threat from the other side. Yeah, he's going to take down the Siege Rhino with Obzon Charm here. And yeah, no land drop there from Yuta Takahashi. Again, Paul Dean, Magic Online PTQ winner here.
Playing his 4th Pro Tour.
Yeah.
Now, big problems coming here for Yuta, because I believe Paul Dean has a Wingmate Rock.
Oh, you weren't kidding, Ian. Here it is.
And just
And that's going to do it. Yuta Takahashi just picks up his permanence. He's seen enough, and Paul Dean wins the match. He's now 11-3.
Yeah, joins Jon Finkel and Paulo Vitor Damo Da Rosa at 36 points.
He's all smiles, and why not? What a great win for Paul. And we're going to move our crew back to the back table there, where we have Peter Vieren versus Martin Mueller. So we've got a big crowd of teammates and friends of Martin watching in the feature match area.
Martin, of course, coming off a good performance at the World Championship.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that, Martin just turned 18. He's a young man. And, this is one of those, is he the real deal? Did he just have a good run? And I think he's answered those questions here, to be honest.
He had kind of a heartbreaking end to last season. He actually wound up 1 point short of gold.
Of gold, right?
So
which is weird, because we saw him in the World Championship. Most of those guys are platinum.
Gold's hard.
And gold's tough to get to.
Gold takes a lot of points.
Now
Yeah, CT debut was just Valencia last year.
Everything I've heard about him, though, says that he's the real deal. He's calm. He's smart.
Agreed.
He listens to people. And he's really talented. He's playing on that Team Eureka, which has really crushed day one. I haven't seen the numbers yet on how they fared in day two, but coming out of day one, they were easily the #1 team.
Yeah, that team also won the last 2 Pro Tours. So he is their horse for this one. You know who's had a great day, too? Is actually Pantheon.
Pantheon.
John and Owen are both looking to be into this top 8, right? And they aren't the only ones. Like, they've had a good day.
This is game 3 between these players, and we're calling this a winning in, right, Randy?
Yeah. Yeah, these guys will join Jon Finkel. It looks like there's going to be 2 37s and then either 4 or 5 at 36. Ryuichi Tomata got paired down against Kazuyuki Takimura, who's on a draw.
So if there's 5 36s and 2 37s, what happens after that?
One of the 36s gets pared down.
Okay.
I mean, it should be those 6 or 7 should make it, but somebody gets pared down. A lot of it depends on how the 31 versus 33 match goes this round. They're in game 3, by the way, off camera, Tamada and Takemura.
Take a look at Peter playing Esper Dragons.
Yeah, Mueller is Jeskai tokens, right? Not Dark Jeskai?
That's correct.
Yeah, he's playing that Team Eureka Jeskai tokens list we saw a bit on day 1.
Yeah, Jeskai Ascendancy in the list. That's one of the key cards. Treasure Cruise. You know, think about the Jeskai tokens decks from last standard, and it has a lot of similarities to it. Very powerful deck. But it does seem that Peter Vieren brought the tools to beat it. We talked earlier, he had Virulent Plague on the battlefield. He doesn't currently.
Yeah, just one copy of Virulent Plague in his sideboard. So awesome if it turns up. Cross your fingers.
Yeah, cross his finger. Here's to dig through time. Martin's just going to attack for 2. Does he have a follow-up? Peter's fallen down to 12 life. Again, this is game 3 here in what is likely to be a win and in for top 8. So much on the line for both players. Treasure Cruise for Martin. That is on the stack. Peter's playing Esper Dragons. Martin has left 1 mana available. And Peter says, okay. This is huge.
Yeah, Peter's sitting on a couple Dragon Lord Ojutais. No permission, no real ability to react. He's just going to play a dragon on turn 5 and hope that's good enough.
Now we're going to find out shortly. Just 2 tokens on the battlefield. And there's Dragon Lord Ojutai. Here's a key. Does it resolve?
Yep.
Or are we going to see something like a Disdainful Stroke here from Martin? That would be huge. It would leave Peter completely tapped out with Martin having just resolved Treasure Cruise and facing no board state.
Wow.
He has it. Disdainful Stroke. Huge play for Martin. You can see how he confidently put it on the table because he knows how important that is. Now this turn is big because Martin gets free reign to do whatever he wants. He's got a ton of cards in his hand.
How do you feel about another Treasure Cruise?
Great. If I'm sitting in Martin's seat, I am super thrilled to just load up on cards. Now, a Jeskai Ascendancy wouldn't be bad here either.
Well, he's mostly drawn land. He did get the Disdainful Stroke off the last cruise, but I mean, a bunch of land in his hand right now.
Okay, so he is going to need to still hit. And Peter just has to shake his head. Yep, you got it. Hold his breath.
Yeah, Peter thinks he's being crushed here, but actually Martin kind of needs to hit, or that
All right.
Dragon Lord's going to
Well, there's
stick.
an Ascendancy, a
And a
Disdainful
Disdainful
Stroke,
Stroke.
and a Jace off the top.
Enormous. Because Peter Vieren, as we can see, only has a follow-up Dragon Lord Ojutai.
Yeah.
Which is going to meet a Disdainful Stroke.
Also, that Blighted Fen doesn't look great against the tokens deck. We have seen it do work, though. I wouldn't be surprised to see Blighted Fen pop up more and more often in these control decks, but what did he find here? Well, you can see what Martin's got in his hand now. we mentioned that as he
Little bit
drew
of
them.
everything. Does he have a third cruise? Is that oh, that's left over. Okay. Still.
Now, Martin did just pass the turn here, though. He's
Yeah.
left up.
He's left up
That
Disdainful
Disdainful
Stroke
Stroke.
instead of tapping out for Jace or Ascendancy. Makes sense.
It does get interesting to see what Peter actually does with this turn here. Yeah, he's just going to run out another
Nothing
Dragon
else to
Lord
do.
Ojutai. All right, Disdainful Stroke that one too, and Martin's got to feel good about the way this has gone. Yes.
Hordling Outburst.
There
Is that
we
good
go.
with Jeskai Ascendancy in hand?
So first things first, Ascendancy.
Yup.
And that's going to let him get a couple of those extra lands out of his hand on the loot
Indeed.
ability here as well. He finds another disdainful stroke, though I
Yeah, he already
don't
played
think
a
he's
land
going to
this
have
turn.
the mana to cast it.
Still, attack for 4.
Right.
And you have 5 tokens for next turn.
He
Let's
is
see,
easily representing lethal damage here.
Dig through time into Violent Plague, maybe?
I think he just drew Dig Through Time.
Oh,
Ian.
wow. I was being hopeful there.
Yeah, but I think he may have actually just found it. Yeah, he did.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay,
If
step
this
one.
finds Virulent Plague,
I mean, you sketched out this line. Let's see
Basically-
if Peter can follow through.
it's basically what he needs to do. The one of sideboard card with top 8 on the line.
Now, I mean, I'm assuming he has cards like Languish in the list as well, which I believe he has the mana to cast.
Yeah, I mean, typically Esper Dragons has access to Crux of Fate, often Languish.
He
But-
is thinking about tapping more than 2 mana for this dig.
I think the Virulent Plague is really what he needs here. I mean, Mueller has so much gas in hand and an ascendancy, even sweeping the board once, I don't think is... I mean, it's a start, right?
Yeah.
But
All right.
Also, this does give him the option. So he's going to keep an Ojitai
Yeah, he
in
pays
the
1
yard.
extra. He's got
Yeah, and
to
he-
put the Haven in play.
Right, and then what he can also do is he could go land plus
Yep.
sweeper if it's a Languish or something.
I see Silumgar.
Oh, look at this. Look at Martin. Look at him like, did you do it?
Right.
Because Martin's only got 1 mana up at this point.
Yeah, he didn't. It's funny that he looted into a disdainful stroke. If he'd had that, he might not have even played the Hordeling Outburst. He might have left it up, but didn't have it in hand. Martin played this all well.
He didn't find it. In fact, he found nothing.
Nothing.
Jace, Dig Through Time number 2, Dragon Lord Silumgar.
uh-oh.
Wow, yeah. Peter Vieren's lines at this point involve Martin not having a way to trigger Jeskai Ascendancy, which is a super long shot.
And even then, it puts Peter down to 1. Just
Block
on
with
board.
an 0-2 Jace.
Yeah.
In this hypothetical where there's no way to trigger Ascendancy, Jace can block.
Martin's probably holding his breath here.
Yes.
And he says,
Dig
yeah,
through
no
time.
problem.
And the best he could come up with was an 0-2 Jace to block with. Crazy.
All he needs to do is cast something. There it is, and that does it. The hand gets extended, and Martin Mueller, sigh of relief. He doesn't look too shaken about it, but you heard the claps from his friends, and there's a smile. He can't help it, as he's put himself in great position to make the top 8 here, and maybe hit gold this time around.
Yeah,
After,
bare minimum, he's going to Atlanta.
Yeah. So great win there for Martin, and what a fantastic round down in our feature match area. Great stuff. Super fun to commentate as well. Welcome back to the booth here in Milwaukee. That's Randy Bueller, Ian Duke, Marshall Sutcliffe, and we need to take a deep breath here in the booth because that was a lot of action down there. I know that Rich Hagan is ready at the news desk to get you up to speed on what's going on with the tournament. We'll see you in just a little bit.
All right, thanks so much to the team down in the booth, keeping track of all the action. So this is where we think we are. Ricky Chin, 37 points. Owen Turtenwell, 37 points. Congratulations in. Jon Finkel up to 36 points. Needs 1 more point. That would be a handshake. Paulo Vitor Damo Da Rosa still on 36 points. He's been there since 2 rounds ago. Still 36, still needs a handshake. Paul Dean from Canada up to 36 points. Needs a handshake next round. Yuta Takahashi on 33, one of the first players who needs to win their last round and see whether someone on 36 makes it in the big scrum. Martin Mueller, you've just seen, go to 36. Peter Vieren in the same boat. 33 needs to win, see what the tie breaks look like. Ryocha Tamada and Takayuki Takamura, they are still going. Kazuyuki Takamura, sorry, on 31. Only if Tamada wins that will he be in that tiebreak want a handshake mix. Takamura needs to just win and win because he had a draw. And then Paul Rietzel gone on 31. Thiago Saporito joins the scrum on 33. Also on 33, Will Urker, 11-4. Huang Haoshan, we've hardly mentioned him. He had a bad start to the weekend, but has been piling the wins up to 11-4. And also, Sam Black is 11-4. So it's deck tech time for the last time here at Pro Tour Battle for Zendikar. And as we like to say, the more, the merrier.